Hello everyone, today I'm going to be sharing my build experience of the ROKR Stagecoach. I got this for 1,500 pesos on Shopee. It looks absolutely beautiful and the design is so detailed and intricate. Just a heads up, I'm a complete beginner when it comes to 3D puzzles like this. The closest thing I've done to 3D puzzles I guess is digital 3D, but that's not really the same thing, and also I did do a bit of Lego, but even then I'm not good at Lego. It functions as a music box and it plays the melody Green Sleeves, so I'll be playing that in a bit for you. So this is actually supposed to be able to move forward when you crank up the music box, but that's the main part I messed up. Alright, let's get into the actual build. You can see here I have a nice aesthetic setup here with the props, but that is going to change really quickly. As soon as I get this manual, I knew immediately that this was going to be so much harder than the Book Nook last video. And when I opened it up, it was even more complex. I was just thinking in my head, oh my goodness, this looks so complex. And to be honest, it actually is really complex compared to the last build I did with the Book Nook. Here's the music box and also sandpaper on a stick. I actually don't even realize what I'm supposed to do with that until later in the video. And here are the other parts. I already dropped the pieces. We didn't even start and I'm already messing up. So it starts off fine actually, no problems. It's pretty simple just setting up the enclosure of the music box. And I think this is the only time we actually use the screwdriver. And I tested out a bit here. We got the full enclosure, and that's the first mistake I made. I was forcing it too much and it snapped. It didn't snap all the way through, and it's still okay to be there, but yeah, that was the first kind of big mistake. This was also kind of interesting. I had to push down on this yellow circle or ring with these tools. This actually wasn't also too bad. And this is the first part where I got stuck. These rings, I had no idea how to put them through. I think looking back, I just had to be more patient and try to find a better way to match the holes. I was even trying to sandpaper this piece to get it to go through, but that was clearly not the move. Here's me giving a close-up because I have no idea how to put it through. Since I couldn't figure this part out, I just ended up using glue to stick it together, and that was a really bad decision because that is going to bite me back in the future. And in this next part, I'm actually missing a piece because when I tried to pop it out of the wood, it accidentally flew out and I have no idea where it went. While I was trying to put these walls together, I don't know why I laid them on the table like that, but it revealed where the missing piece went. So
wait, what?
Yeah, I was able to add that in.
Oh my god, I found it. What?
I know it doesn't feel like that long, but I think there was at least 30 minutes in there. I just cut it out because it was just me trying to figure things out.
Nice. Okay, that was easier.
In this part I didn't have as much trouble, but you can see I'm using scissors to remove the chipped wood on the edges of the pieces, and I still didn't realize that I was supposed to use a sandpaper to smoothen the sides. Here I accidentally snapped the door frame because I was putting too much force on it, especially because it's also a really small piece, so it's not as stable. If there's one thing I want beginners to know when building these kind of puzzles, is that you have to be really gentle And you shouldn't need to force the pieces together because they were really made to fit in seamlessly.
I just glued it here. Oh my god. Still works. Kind of. This is the rolling
In this part, I'm
motion.
demonstrating the rolling motion that you're supposed to do when attaching pieces. Since you're not supposed to force them together because they'll end up snapping, you're supposed to roll it back and forth with a gentle pressure.
Instead of you just go like this.
I learned this from a YouTube channel called Build with the Boys, who also worked on Stagecoach. That was a really good tip because for the rest of the build, I didn't really have that much trouble with snaps anymore, and it was really satisfying to see these pieces fit together properly. In this part, I mistakenly used the yellow rings for the sign, but I'm supposed to be using the transparent, really small pieces here. And I end up spending a good chunk of time on this, just trying to figure out why is this not fitting, but here's how it's supposed to look.
Guys, I think the long end here is supposed to go at the back. And I can't do this because it's gonna... When I tried doing it this way, this side kept bending. And if I forced it, I think it would have snapped off. So I think I need to redo it to make sure it matches here with the long end of this side.
So after I fixed the orientation of that, I immediately encountered another problem where this time it's being blocked by the top piece of wood here. And so I tried to fix it, and I kind of fix it, like it actually snaps when I try to remove it.
It's so hard to remove this part because I was trying to swap it because I couldn't get this in here and it was getting blocked, and when I was trying to swap it, this one broke off. I feel like something else might break, and I don't want anything bigger to break, and since I can already do this, I think it's kind of fine now. Like it, honestly, you wouldn't really notice that anyway.
Here I finally figure out what the sandpaper's for, and there's actually a lot of slivers of wood jutting out of the pieces, so it's really helpful. Then I add the roof and work on the wheels. This part wasn't too bad, especially now that I know that you shouldn't force things. And I think the only problems from here on out were based on orientation. Like I didn't follow the proper orientation in the manual and I had to redo some stuff. By now, I was feeling pretty confident. The whole thing was coming together and I was just working on extra auxiliary things like the lanterns and the stand, which were pretty easy. Like it felt good working on these because I had absolutely no problems, and it always feels good when everything goes according to plan. But you know, that's not gonna last because I'm gonna have another big problem by the end of this. Right here, I was thinking, okay, I finished the luggages and the chest. That was pretty easy. I was thinking I was done, but we're about to see what happened.
I was wondering why the wheels aren't moving when I turn it, and I realized that this cog is on the wrong side.
So this is the part where using glue had really bad consequences, because I feel like if I did it properly, this would have worked on the spot when I switched the location of the cogs, but I had to readjust it and I didn't want to pick it apart again, so I just made it as close as possible using the glue, and I think that's the whole reason why it doesn't move forward when I crank the music box anymore. But overall, I'm still really happy with the final product. Just looking at it makes me feel a good sense of joy. And I know it's not perfect, but I really, despite how frustrating it was at times, I was really happy with this build, and I'm really confident in myself now that I can properly tackle another ROKR project. For overall tips for people who are new to this, just based on my build experience here, I would say number one, the most important thing is to not force the pieces together because you might end up breaking it, and you have to do that gentle rolling motion. And also number two, pay attention to the orientation of things because of course you wouldn't want to complete a big part of the puzzle and have to redo it because you just got the orientation wrong. Okay, so overall thoughts, it looks absolutely gorgeous, and is it worth the price? It's definitely worth 1,500 pesos, so I'm super happy with that. And would I recommend it to you guys? I would definitely recommend it if you're into 3D puzzles, but if you're a beginner, maybe start with something a bit simpler, but if you're up for the challenge, yeah, go for it. In their website, it says that this takes approximately 4 hours to complete, but honestly for me it took about 7 hours over the course of multiple days. So in closing, I'd like to thank RoboTime for creating this wonderful puzzle, and thank you guys for watching.